But there are really three key things that COBIT will help generate in terms of benefit. First of all, direct impact on business performance. Remember, I said that the business and IT are really inseparable. IT impacts all business activities, and so if IT doesn't work well, the business activity will be jeopardized. On the other hand, if IT does work well, it can actually transform the performance of the business and generate, but really potentially big improvements and big savings and even increase profit significantly. And this happens in two ways. Broadly, the first level is operationally. So take something like an internet banking environment. If the IT environment doesn't work safely and securely and reliably, then of course the internet banking system won't work. And if the internet banking system goes off the air for even a few hours, the damage to the bank and the reputation of the bank can be very, very significant. From a strategic point of view, new initiatives that the business wants to take forward, and maybe a new product or a new service, will invariably require IT to enable it. And if that IT-enabled business change fails, or takes too long, or costs too much, then the business opportunity will be lost, and costs will be incurred, and even benefits just won't materialize. The second key area is to do with risk. Now, technology has evolved over the years to be an amazing asset, doing functions that we probably didn't even dream of 10 years ago, with things like internet and personal devices and just general globalization of communications. But all these benefits carry a new wave of risk, some of which are commonplace nowadays. I think most people have understood about hacking and things like this, but other risks ranging from projects going bad all the way through to personal information being compromised. And of course, when we're talking about transactions, banking transactions, or even health records, that integrity of that information has to be secured and has to be maintained. So all of these things need to be minimized as a risk through use of good practice and reliable process, which again is what COBIT drives and encourages. And then the third dimension is the regulatory environment, something that we've unfortunately had to live with. It's expanding all of the time, partly because of globalization, but also because of the way information technology has affected every facet of our lives, from personal data all the way through to the way businesses communicate with one another. So regulations are there. There's an expectation from regulators in different sectors and in different countries that IT is used reliably and safely, and that comes back to IT people following good standards and good practices. Just like you might see in a building situation. People will build a building, you hope, according to decent standards and following proper best practice, otherwise that building will be unsafe. And of course, the degree of best practice and the standards that they have to follow depends upon the type of building that they're putting up. The same applies to the IT environment. It depends on the environment, it depends on the type of business, it depends on the risks. But at the end of the day, the regulators will judge you based on the best practices and the standards that you follow. And so the COBIT approach will, in this case, not only enable compliance to be done properly, because by following good practices and good procedures, it becomes just normal way of life, but also it's much easier to demonstrate compliance to a regulator or to an auditor, because one can show, using the COBIT model, how it's been done. So these things together create an overall improvement to the way a business will perform, and that's why people are adopting COBIT in many places around the world. So remember, COBIT is a strategic tool, it's a strategic approach. It's not a one-time fix or a kind of band-aid solution or something that would just fix short-term problems. The benefits come from COBIT from sustained use and true adoption. And that's the mentality that you have to apply to generate what can be very, very significant benefits to the enterprise.